Imagine a very ordinary situation. Tonight, you eat your last meal. Not a cheat meal, not a meal where you eat as if you won't get another one tomorrow. Just a normal meal. Then you wash the dishes. You take a sip of water, and you say to yourself a simple sentence. But it actually triggers a whole chain reaction in your body. From now on, I won't eat anymore. Just water. Just not eating. And maybe right now, you already feel a little tightness in your chest. A little nervous. A little uneasy, as if you're about to do something unnatural. But actually, the unnatural thing isn't fasting. The unnatural thing is, we eat all day long. We eat when we're hungry. We eat when we're not hungry. We eat when we're sad. We eat when we're happy. We eat when we're stressed. We eat when we have free time. We eat because we see others eating. We eat because of advertisements. We eat out of habit. We eat because we're afraid of being hungry. And because we live in a world where food is always readily available, our brains gradually come to believe lack of food is dangerous. An empty stomach is a red flag. But the human body has a truth that always sends shivers down my spine. It's not only designed to survive when food is abundant, it's also designed to survive when food disappears. Not just barely surviving, but rather switching modes. And this is the question I want to ask right from the start, to keep you engaged throughout the video. If you don't provide energy, where will your body get it from? What will it draw from first? What will it protect? And why do some people say they feel strangely alert after 48 to 72 hours? Sounds illogical, right? Being alert without eating? But that very illogicality is what makes you want to listen until the end. Because when you understand what's really happening, you'll see, most of the time, your body isn't panicking as much as you think. The one panicking is usually your brain. Let me clarify this beforehand to avoid misunderstandings. Long-term fasting isn't suitable for everyone. If you have underlying health conditions, are taking medication, especially blood sugar and blood pressure medication, are pregnant, breastfeeding, or have a history of eating disorders, don't try long-term fasting. This video is for understanding the mechanism and behavior, not for turning yourself into a guinea pig. Okay, now I'll start telling the story like a movie. Imagine I'm attaching a tiny camera to your body, and I'm narrating what happens over 72 hours. Hour 0, you've just stopped eating. The first few hours are often deceptive. You're still normal. You're still going to work, still talking, still browsing your phone, still seeing life go on. And you'll think, what's so special about fasting? That's right. Because the body is still using energy from the last meal. It still has cash in its wallet. But at a deeper level, something is changing. The being nourished signal is decreasing. Insulin tends to drop, and as insulin drops, the body begins to unlock reserves it wouldn't normally need to access. But the most important thing in the 0-12 hour isn't the body. It's your head. Because your brain starts playing its familiar game. It's time. Just eat a little. How can I sleep without eating? What's wrong with eating a bite? It doesn't yell. It speaks very sweetly, very logically, very convincingly. It pulls out all sorts of seemingly valid reasons. And here's the first blow. Many people fail prematurely, not because they're hungry. They fail because they don't realize that they're fighting habit, not real hunger. If you observe carefully, you'll see that hunger at this stage is like a wave. It rises. It makes you restless. It makes you think about food. But it doesn't rise indefinitely. Many hunger pangs will subside on their own if you drink water, wait a while, or shift your attention. It sounds simple, but if you haven't observed it, you might think hunger is a straight upward trajectory until you collapse. No, it rises and then falls. And the moment you think, it's coming down, you'll have a whole new feeling, I can endure this. But then, around midday, the story starts to get harder, 12-24 hours. This is the part where most people give up, not because your body is starving, no. Your body still has plenty of reserves, but it's shifting from fast fuel to sustained fuel. And that transition can sometimes feel unpleasant. A heavy head, a slight headache, difficulty concentrating, irritability, easily annoyed, quick temper. You'll find yourself annoyed by very small things. You'll find someone saying something ordinary that makes you want to snap. You'll find work more unpleasant. You'll find time passing more slowly. And right then, your brain will drop a venomous remark. See? Fasting makes you weak. But here's the second twist. The feeling of weakness on the first day isn't actually weakness. It's a sign of a gear shift. It's like driving a car, shifting from first to second gear. There's a moment of jerk. That jerk isn't a breakdown. It's just a shift. In the body, the first cache used is glycogen. You could call it the sugar reserve in the liver and muscles. This reserve isn't inexhaustible. As it decreases, you might experience symptoms like your brain craves sugar. And here's the important thing. If you're a heavy snacker, a big eater of sweets, or someone who eats on the fly, the first day is usually harder because your body is used to a constant supply of energy. It's like you're used to taking a sip of coffee every time you're tired. Suddenly, it's cut off. Your body reacts. But if you get through the first day, you'll reach a point that many describe with a strange phrase. Suddenly, it feels better. And here's where things get interesting. After about 24-36 hours, your body starts drawing energy from fat more seriously. Your liver begins producing ketones, a more stable form of fuel. If sugar gives you that quick fix feeling, ketones are like long-distance fuel, more stable, less fluctuating. You'll notice the hunger changes. It no longer screams eat immediately. It comes in waves. And here's the third catch. If you get through a hunger pang without eating, you'll start to understand that you're not being controlled by that signal. You start to see a gap between what I crave and what I have to do. That gap is where discipline is born. But wait, I don't want you to get caught up in the fasting is the magic mentality. Honestly, some people will find it easier. Some will find it harder. Some will feel more alert. Some will feel more tired. Because everyone's body is different. Because of how you sleep, how stressed you are, whether you drink enough water, whether you have electrolyte deficiencies. This is where many online videos overlook this. Long-term fasting with only water can sometimes leave you feeling tired due to a lack of minerals. You might experience dizziness, headaches, rapid heartbeat, and weakness. So once again, don't take risks. Don't treat this like a competition. But if you do it right and your body adapts well, the second day will start to feel completely different. And I want to tell you about day 2 in a very down-to-earth way. Day 2 is the day you start to realize you eat more than you need. You'll walk past a restaurant. The aroma wafts up, and you'll see a film playing in your head. Images of the food, memories, the feeling of being rewarded. You crave it not because your stomach is empty. You crave it because your brain wants a hug. That's right. For many people, food is a hug. A quick hug. A hug that doesn't need anyone else. A hug you give yourself. And here's the fourth point. Sometimes you're not hungry for food. You're hungry for safety. Hungry for comfort. Hungry for a moment of release. Day 2 forces you to look that straight in the eye. You'll find yourself wanting to eat when stressed. You'll find yourself wanting to chew when bored. You'll find yourself wanting something sweet when tired. And you'll realize, it turns out I've been using food to regulate my emotions. When the body enters a more stable rhythm, many people describe a state of stillness. Not excitement, not euphoria, just stillness. Less swayed by cravings, less tossed about by hyperglycemia, hypoglycemia. And at that point, you begin to do something normally difficult. You listen to your body more clearly. You can distinguish. This is real hunger, and this is habit. This is a bodily signal, and this is a mood signal. It sounds philosophical, but it's actually very practical. And precisely while you're observing the behavior, the cells inside tend to prioritize resources again. When not constantly digesting, the body can dedicate more energy to maintenance processes. Autophagy is often referred to as a symbol of cellular cleanup. Simply put, the body has a mechanism for recycling old, faulty, or poorly functioning parts to reuse the material. I'm not trying to paint it a miracle cure. I'm not promising fasting cures, diseases, but I want you to understand something very logical. When you reduce the burden of processing food, the body can allocate energy to things other than digestion. And then, at some point on the second or early third day, many people experience a strange feeling. They feel more sustained energy, not the 100% battery kind, but the not dropping too quickly kind. You can work longer without being interrupted by cravings. You can concentrate without needing a snack every 2 hours. You feel less foggy. And here's the fifth point. Why can the mind concentrate without food? From an evolutionary perspective, it makes terrifying sense. Our ancestors died when they were lethargic due to lack of food, so the body tends to switch to a state of alert to search for sustenance. You might not go hunting, but that program is still there. Day 3. Day 3 is where the story begins to resemble a personality test, because at this point, the stomach is no longer the biggest enemy. The biggest enemy is
As
meaning.
you can see here,
You will ask
the
yourself,
reduction in neural noise leads
why am I
directly
doing
to
this?
enhanced mental clarity
And your answer will
focus.
determine whether you continue or stop. If you do it to prove something, you will strain and become exhausted. If you do it because it's trendy, you will get bored. If you do it out of curiosity, to understand your body, to regain control of your behavior, you will find this a fascinating observation. And on day 3, many people describe a very similar state. They still think about food, but food is no longer the chain. They walk past a restaurant. The smell is still delicious. But smell is no longer the command. They look at the food. They still find it delicious. But they're not being pulled as before. And this is a profound moment. You realize you're not a puppet. You can say no to a signal. You can wait. You can choose. It's a very strange feeling for those who are used to acting on cravings. Now, speaking of the 72-hour mark, there are many catchy phrases online. Reset, rejuvenate, life-changing. I want to address this part in a more rational tone. There are research directions suggesting that prolonged fasting may be related to changes in inflammatory, immune, and metabolic signaling, and there's even a fasting mimicking approach being studied in a medical context. But there's a big gap between suggestion and guarantee. Don't just listen and think that fasting for 3 days will make you a superhero. The most valuable thing that many people actually feel after 72 hours is they change their relationship with hunger. They see hunger not as a monster. It goes up, it goes down, and they don't die from it. But here's the twist that many people fall for. Ending fasting is the easiest part to mess up. You fast for 3 days. You feel strong, and you compensate. You eat a heavy meal. You eat quickly. You eat a lot. You eat as if you want to make up for 3 days. And your body reacts. You're tired. You're sleepy. You feel uncomfortable. You have a stomach ache. And you conclude, fasting is bad. While sometimes, the problem lies in how you eat again. If you want to end this story nicely, eating again should be gentle. Eat again like a warm-up. Eat lightly. Eat slowly. Listen to your body. And here's the strange thing. After fasting, your sense of taste might be more sensitive. Flavors might be clearer. You might find even a simple dish delicious. And you realize that before, you ate many things not because they tasted good, but because of habit, emotion, and reflex. Let me tell you one last scene so you'll remember it for a long time. Let's say there's a person named Min. Min isn't starving himself to show off. Min just wants to know, am I being controlled by food? On the first day, Min struggled. He opened the refrigerator, looked, closed it. He wasn't starving to death. He was being pulled by habit. He was annoyed. He couldn't sleep. He wondered what he was doing. On the second day, Min walked past a restaurant. The smell wafted up.
Here,
He craved
the timeline
food.
reaches hour 72,
He thought he was hungry,
which is critical
but then
for
he
the
realized that
cellular
craving was a
analysis.
memory and a reward. He drank water. He continued walking. And the craving passed. On the third day, Min walked past that restaurant again. The smell was the same, but Min was no longer being pulled. He felt he had a choice, and in that moment, Min understood. What he received wasn't some scientific term. He received freedom from reflexes. So if you ask me, was 72 hours worth it? My answer: if you're doing fasting as a form of punishment, it's not worth it. If you're doing it as a way to understand your body, understand your habits, and learn not to be controlled by cravings, it might be worth it. But it has to be done safely, not extremely, and not as a test of self-control. And you don't need to start with 72 hours. You can start with smaller things. Reduce snacking, eat at specific times, get enough sleep, eat slowly, and learn to distinguish between real hunger and habitual cravings. I want to end the video with a simple question, but if you think about it carefully, it changes a lot. When you feel restless because you haven't eaten, is it your body or your habit that's
timing our
hungry?
meals,
If
we
you want,
utilize
in the
fasting
next
as a
video,
tool
I'll
to
tell you the
improve
part where
metabolic
many
function
people
and
fail the
cellular
most.
repair.
The evening
It
of
is
the
not
first
about
day.
punishment.
Why the evening is a big trap. What tricks your brain uses to make you break the rules, and how to overcome it without forcing yourself. Stay tuned for more of my story. Now, just leave me one comment. At what hour do you think you'll collapse? And will it be because you're really hungry? Or because of habit?